Hello everyone, my name is Ultima456 and welcome to Let's Platinum Bloodborne. Let's get started right away. If you're quick to notice in that upper right hand corner it says user 1. The reason for that is because I've already platinumed this game on my normal account, but I'm using a different account so that all the trophies can pop and you can see them as we go through. This is a trophy playthrough, so we're going to get everything and we're going to get the platinum. I'm going to show you how to do it. Because this game is difficult. This game was developed by From Software, which will come up in just a sec. And yeah, it's a spiritual successor to the Dark Souls series, which is a great bunch of games. They're action RPG and they're just really awesome. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to put the brightness up because when it transfers to YouTube, it's kind of like it's a bit darker. So I'm going to put the brightness a little bit higher. Yeah. I'm going to be quiet for I'll be back in a sec.
Well, you've come to the right place. Yharnam is the home of blood ministration. You need only unravel its mystery. But where's an outsider like yourself to begin? Easy, with a bit of Yharnam blood of your own. But first, you'll need a contract.
Okay, first cutscene of the game. This game has really short cutscenes. Alright, character creation. I'm not going to be too fancy here. My name is John in real life, so I'm going to call him John. Male, age, young, origin, we're going to put violent past. And the reason for violent past, if you look down there, sort of in the middle, you have level 10, blood echoes 180, but then the three most important, vitality, endurance and strength, are all fairly high, and that's what we want. So let's get started. Another cutscene's coming up, so I'll be back in a second. Oh, I guess I'll let this load first. I'm going to keep the load screens in. The load screens used to be really long, but now they're much shorter because of a patch. But I'm going to keep them in because they're not too long and I can talk during them as we go through the game. Alright, this cutscene is, I think, the longest one in the game, so, but it's not, but even that isn't that long, so enjoy.
Good. All signed and sealed. Now, let's begin the transfusion. Oh, don't you worry. Whatever happens, you may think it all a mere bad dream.
You found yourself a hunter.
Alright, here we go, start of the game. So we wake up in a place called Iosefka's, it's hard to pronounce that one, Iosefka's clinic. Alright, let's get started and I'll show you around. This door does not open from this side, and we can't get there for a really long time, but don't worry about it. The story is sort of very bare bones and it's laid out in these little notes everywhere, so let's look at it. Handwritten scroll. Seek pale blood to transcend the hunt. The story was a bit confusing to me, so I'll try and like explain it as we go. But yeah, that's basically saying find something or someone called Pale Blood, and you can bypass or get through, get over, get around, transcend is the word they use, the hunt. These are little bits of information here, so we're going to read it. Okay, it tells you how to attack. So you press R1 and you can attack with your right hand weapon. In this case we don't have a weapon, so we just attack with our hand. Pretty easy. If we press the R3 button in, we can lock on and release the target. So I'll show you that in just a sec. Alright, so we go here and we meet our first enemy of the game. There's nothing else in this room, by the way. I'll double check later, but I'm pretty sure there's nothing else. At least nothing that we want to look at now. Alright, so if we press R3 we can lock onto that wolf, and you can see he's lost about like 60% of his health, which is rare because in this game pretty much everyone has full health all the time. I think the reason they did that was to try and make people attack it, but it's not a good idea because he's just too strong, especially since we don't have a weapon. So what we do is we unlock off him and we hold circle and we sprint. Run right past him. Just hold circle and press forward. Don't worry that he saw you. Open this door. He's going to come and attack, but when you're in a transition period... Oh, okay, you got me. You can't be attacked. But I got out of the transition period. Wow, this is really unlucky. When you do this, he might not be this aggressive. Oh, please don't kill me, please. Alright, now we run up here, skip that guy, operate this device, and then we climb the ladder. Oh god, please don't hit me, please don't hit me. Oh, thank god. Alright, climb the ladder. He's going to climb up, so I'm actually going to skip a bit of text here, just so that I can safely get away. This is a checkpoint, and I'll explain what it is. So it says something, but I'm not going to read it because he's going to come and get me. This lamp now transports you back to the Hunter's Dream. Upon death, you will awaken at this lamp. Please, 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 please. Okay, thank god. That was lucky. Okay, another cutscene's coming up, very short one, so I'm going to let you guys see it, and I'll explain what happens after that. I'll be right back. Alright, Bloodborne welcomes you to the Hunter's Dream. Alright, lots of stuff to explain here, so I'm going to try and do it quickly and concisely. Let's start with these 7 gravestones. So this gravestone, and then there's another 6. The other 6 are for an element of the game at the very end. You can do it earlier, but I'm going to leave it pretty much to the end. It's called Chalice Dungeons, or they're called Chalice Dungeons, and they're just like areas that are more difficult than the main game, and with bosses that are much tougher than the main bosses of the game. So we'll get there much later on, but we'll get there eventually. This first one, I think this is for like online Chalice Dungeons and stuff. I never use it. We're playing offline for this playthrough just because it's easier. I don't want to deal with having to fight people. Okay, this is a salesperson. These little creepy things are called messengers, and you can trade in your blood echoes, which is the currency at the top right hand corner that you can see, to buy and sell items. So at the moment we only have 180. There's nothing really useful to buy. We want to buy like sort of this gear here, but there's really nothing useful, so I'm going to use this vendor later when I actually have some items. We can sell stuff that we have too for more blood echoes. Okay, so this is an insight vendor. It's another currency. It's that little eye icon below the blood echoes. And we can buy just sort of like helpful items with this later on down the track. Okay, let's go over here. Hold circle to sprint. There's nothing down here, but there is this, which is a stump messenger. So this stump appears linked to the nightmare, but there are no messengers. Alright, so what that does is basically when you can leave messages for players in the world, like we saw with the notes that we viewed before, and there are adornments you can collect, and you can apply them to your messengers, and that's how you apply them. You use that stump to apply them. Alright, so let's go in here. This note says to escape. You can see it there. Like, see how they have the notes. They will have adornments if you collect them in the world. Although this note is from the game. To escape this dreadful hunter's dream, halt the source of the spreading scourge of beasts, lest the night carry on forever. So I think what that's trying to say is if you can destroy all the beasts, then you can stop the night. It's kind of like, it feels like a time loop. Like if you can defeat the beasts, then you can get out of this constant loop. To me, I don't know if that's a great explanation, but that's what I think. This memory altar is going to be used later. It's really useful. It's something that we definitely going to like using later on the track, but we don't have the workshop tool yet, so we have to get that. It's quite a way into the game. This is the workshop. It's used to fortify and repair, and actually later on do a few more things with our weapons. So we don't have a weapon at the moment, and we don't have the required materials to do that, so we're not going to worry about it. I'm going to leave this guy for a second. This is the storage, so we can place any items that we find in the game in here. And as you can see, well, this is our normal menu. This is like our normal storage in our bags and stuff. And the storage is basically exactly the same. You can store every single item in the game in here. So yeah, it's very helpful. Alright, so let's talk to this guy now. I'll be right back.
You must be the new hunter. Welcome to the hunter's dream. This will be your home for now. I am Gehrman, friend to you hunters. You're sure to be in a fine haze about now, but don't think too hard about all of this. Just go out and kill a few beasts. It's for your own good. You know, it's just what hunters do. You'll get used to it. This was once a safe haven for hunters. A workshop where hunters used blood to enhance their weapons and flesh. We don't have as many tools as we once did, but you're welcome to use whatever you find. Even the dog, should it please you.
Okay, if we continue talking to him, he's just going to say the same thing. He mentions the doll, so just remember that for a few minutes from now, before I tell you about that. Alright, these are more messengers, and they have a gift for us. A notebook received from the messengers. Leave messages with these loyal servants to share them with hunters in other worlds. So this notebook allows you to leave messages for other players in the game to either help or hinder them, because people can be trolls. Alright, so these are the firearms in the game. The messengers offer you a firearm. Choose one. Firearms are wielded with the left hand and employed in beast hunting. The firearms in this game essentially work like shields in the previous games, if you've played the previous games. They're supposed to allow you to parry attacks. I'm not great at that, and I just feel that the effort or the difficulty of actually pulling off a parry doesn't warrant using it constantly. I mean, if you're like PvPing and doing all that kind of stuff, of course you want to learn this to try and like get the upper hand on your opponent. But for me, and for the purposes of the game itself and this particular platinum playthrough, there's no point in learning it. I'm still going to pick it up, but there's no point to me. I'm going to go for the hunter pistol. Now, here's where the meat and potatoes of the game are. The trick weapons. The messengers offer you a trick weapon. Choose one. Trick weapons are wielded with the right hand and employed in beast hunting. My favourite trick weapon out of these three is the hunter axe. You can see there on the left that says 98. That's its physical attack. That's how much physical attack it has normally. I'm going to go for that. The saw cleaver has its uses. It's also a pretty good weapon. It's like quick, and it has almost as much damage as the hunter axe. And threaded cane, I think later on it becomes really useful, especially for some of the boss fights in the Chalice dungeons, but we can worry about that later. For right now, I'm going to go with the Hunter Axe because it's my favorite and it has the best moveset. Alright, now the doll. Alright, so let's inspect the doll. An abandoned doll, that's all it says. This doll is very important because it will allow us to level up in the game, but we can't use her abilities right now, but we will be able to soon. Alright, let's have a look at some more notes down here. We're almost done. This just tells you how to run, like I told you before. Hold forward and press circle, you can run. You'll stop running when your stamina, which is at the top left there, expands. So yeah, you can keep running as long as you have stamina. If you press square, you can use your item, and if you press down, you can toggle items. So if you press square, we don't have any items at the moment, and the items go at the top left there in that box where it's flashing now. You can switch between 6 different items, and you place them here in your menu. You press options to access your menu, and you press you can add your items in here. We don't have any items at the moment, so we don't need to worry. I'll explain all this in a second. What's next? Okay, so if you press left and right, you can switch weapons. I'll show you that now, actually, since I have the weapons. So equip your first right hand weapon here. You can equip 2, that's how you switch weapons. And then this is your first left hand weapon, and same thing, you equip 2 left hand weapons to switch between. So now we have a pistol and an axe. Now because we don't have a second of either of these, when you press left and right, you don't have any weapons, but if you press it again, it puts it back to the first ones. So yeah, pretty simple. Alright, interesting mechanic here. If you press up on the directional pad, which I did many times by accident, you will use your you'll gain more Quicksilver bullets at the expense of HP. Quicksilver bullets are used for like your pistol and stuff to shoot, and it can use, depending on the pistol or the firearm that you have, it might use more than one. So this can be used to get Quicksilver bullets back. I believe you can get, you can use this twice, until you die or until you get your health back. I'm not 100% sure. I generally don't use this too much, but it could have its uses. Yeah. Alright, let's go up here. Alright, I don't really want to spend too much time on this, but this tells you how to use the touchpad in this game. So if you press the left side of the touchpad, you get gestures. If you press the right side, you get personal effects. So I'll just show you. These are the gestures. They're basically ways to communicate somewhat physically and verbally with other players. So like you want to show off joy, you press joy. You want to bow, or salutation, you do that. Also, if you move the controller by holding X in the specified direction, as you can see back there, you can pull them off. Although I have trouble like with this one, and this doesn't make sense. Are you supposed to flip the controller from back to front, or it's kind of weird. And then this one here, like it's supposed to be the opposite of this one, but you can't even see the end of the arrow at the top on this picture, but you can on this picture, so it's weird. But anyway, to use it, just use these. If you press triangle, you can switch to different ones, although we only have, what is that, 6 now? 7. Alright. And personal effects, I believe they're the same as quick items, but I never use it, so maybe I'll use it if I remember when I actually get an item that I can use it with, because I can't use it with the items that I have. The notes held by messengers contain the written wit and wisdom of hunters from other worlds. So that's what I explained before. You can leave messages for other players, and you can either help or hinder them. Assist the hunters of other worlds by using the small resonant bell, which is an item we get later, and receive assistance from hunters of other worlds by using the beckoning bell. So the resonant bell will allow you to help others, and the beckoning bell will allow you to get help. Alright, this one's important. After taking damage from an enemy, there is a period of time in which attacking the enemy in return will restore a certain amount of your HP. So this mechanic is referred to as rally, and essentially what that is exactly what it says there. When you take damage from an enemy, and you'll see, you actually might have noticed it when I was getting attacked by the wolf, you have a portion of your health taken away, but you can gain it back if you attack the enemy back. So yeah, it's a really useful thing. I'm pretty much going to be using it the whole time. I'll show you when it happens. Okay, next. R1 when next to a staggered enemy equals visceral attack. Now this is powerful. I did not use this in my first playthrough because they had this mechanic in the previous games, but I was never like that great at it. In this game, after playing through the whole thing once, I finally understand how it works. You basically attack your enemy enough times so that they can be staggered. This works especially well on bosses because they have so much health. And then you can use R1 in front of them. You have a very short window, you have to press R1 and you do a visceral attack. Visceral attack is a very damaging attack. It does about 10 times the damage of a normal attack. So it's very useful, and I'll try and show that off as we go through the playthrough. Shooting a firearm will interrupt and stagger an enemy when properly timed to their attack. So yeah, if you shoot your firearm at the right time, you can actually get a stagger off on a normal enemy, and then you can just use R1 to deal a visceral attack. And for most normal enemies, if you get a visceral attack on a normal enemy, they're probably gonna die. Like most of the normal enemies in this game, especially on the first playthrough, don't have enough health to survive a visceral attack. So if you can do that, if you want to practice that, go, be my guest, go right ahead. But I just don't like doing it. Hitting an enemy from behind with a charge attack causes them to stagger. Alright, so a charge attack, which is going to explain, is it this one? Yeah. So if you press R2, I'll explain that in a second. If you press R2, you do a strong attack, like that. And if you hold R2, you do a charge attack. If you do that charge attack on an enemy's back, they'll stagger. Or they should stagger. They don't always. I'll demonstrate that a few times through the playthrough, but they don't always stagger. Or at least, if they do, they're not in a great position for you to use a visceral attack on them. So, I don't know. I'll show that through the playthrough as we go. It's just another mechanic that they add to the game. And finally, my favorite, if you press L1, you transform your weapon, and you can also use it in your moveset to deal a transforming attack. And I'll show you how that works in just a sec. Or, like right now. I'm just going to run to a place so that you can see. Alright, so this is the reason why I love the Hunter Axe. So this is the moveset for the Hunter Axe as a one-handed weapon. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's pressing R1. You can do 4 attacks with different, like, each attack is a different swing, a different type of swing. If you press R2, you do a strong attack, and no matter how many times you press R2, you'll always do the same attack. That's pretty much it for the one-handed. If you press L2, you fire your pistol, and that's what I'm going to do. There, that's just firing a pistol. Now the best part, transform weapon. Yep. So the weapon turns into a two-handed weapon, which is awesome. And the reason I think it's awesome is because look at this moveset. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and wide. The first attack, brings in all the enemies. The second and third sort of damage them, and then the fourth attack manages to sort of bring in all the enemies or keep yourself safe as well. R2, basically same as the one-handed version, just a little bit more range on it. If you press, I forgot to do one with this one. If you press forward in R2, you can do a jumping attack. And this is what it looks like for the two-handed. Yep. Now the other thing is, when you transform your weapon, L2, you can't use your pistol anymore. So L2 becomes another attack, and the attack for this is really good. If you press L2, you do 3 different attacks, and then you repeat the sequence. So, with all that, it works so well. And finally, the charge attack, the piece that is the piece of resistance. No, I can't even say it now. Piece de resistance. There we go, something like that. You hold R2, and you do that. That's, that attack is just. I mean, look at the range. Look at the width of the attack. It's just so protective of yourself, and that's why I love this weapon. The transforming attack. So you can do like 1, 2, and then you can transform the weapon, which for some reason I didn't do. 1, 2, L1, and then if you have enough stamina, you can actually keep attacking. So that's the thing. Balancing your stamina is important. Alright, so that's pretty much everything explained. I'll talk about these headstones now because pretty much going to end the video here. These headstones are used to get back to the real world, and the real world is Yharnam. Awaken at a selected location in Yharnam, and we can awaken at the sick room where we started. Actually, I think the first room after the one we started in. Or we can awaken at Central Yharnam. This is the checkpoint that I got just before, after climbing the ladder. So we're going to start here in the next episode, and we're going to go from there. And yeah, we're going to continue this game, and I'm going to show you how cool this game is. Alright, so that's it for today. Ultima 456 out.